You've likely been told all your life that vegetables are always good for you, and for the most part, that's true. But what if I told you that certain vegetables, yes, the kind you see in green smoothies or stacked neatly in health food aisles, may actually be contributing to one of the most overlooked issues facing men over 60, low testosterone. Now let's be clear, testosterone is not just a hormone for muscle and libido. It's a metabolic signal, a master regulator that governs energy, fat distribution, mood, motivation, sleep quality, and even cardiovascular health. And as men age, testosterone naturally declines. But the rate at which it declines and how your body handles that shift is heavily influenced by what you eat. Most people don't realize this, but your diet can quietly suppress testosterone long before you see the symptoms. You might feel a little more tired than usual, have trouble building or maintaining muscle, gain a little fat around your belly, or feel less decisive or motivated. And if you chalk that up to just getting older, you're missing the real cause. Certain vegetables, though, often praised for their antioxidant content or fiber, contain compounds that interfere with testosterone signaling, increase estrogenic activity, or even disrupt the thyroid gland, a critical partner in hormone balance. And when you're over 60, your body becomes more sensitive to those interferences. The hormonal system isn't as resilient as it once was. So yes, for men over 60, not all vegetables are created equal. Some carry anti-nutrients, goitrogens, or plant estrogens that may silently lower your testosterone. These effects aren't always immediate. They accumulate over time, subtly changing your body's hormonal environment until fatigue, muscle loss, and emotional dullness feel like normal aging. But this isn't fear, it's awareness. Once you understand how these vegetables work in the body, you gain the power to make smarter choices. You'll know how to avoid the ones that block testosterone and how to eat in a way that supports your endocrine system naturally without needing medications or risky supplements. And here's the good news. The solution doesn't require avoiding vegetables entirely. It simply requires knowing which ones to limit, how to prepare them safely, and what to replace them with. So you're not just avoiding harm, you're actively fueling hormonal resilience. That's what we're going to break down in this video. I'll walk you through 3 vegetables that are commonly eaten by health-conscious men, yet have been shown in both lab and population studies to lower testosterone, block key receptors, or raise estrogen. And then I'll show you how to make intelligent swaps that protect your hormonal health without sacrificing nutrients, fiber, or flavor. Let's begin with the basics. Before we even get to the first vegetable, we need to understand the hormonal terrain of the male body after 60 and why even small dietary missteps have magnified consequences. By the time most men reach 60, testosterone levels have already declined by 30–50% compared to their peak in their 20s. But the truth is, this isn't just a product of time. Testosterone isn't programmed to disappear. It declines because the body's internal environment begins to send the wrong signals. Testosterone production depends on a complex network, starting with your brain, specifically the hypothalamus and pituitary gland, communicating with your testes, modulated by your thyroid, and supported by the gut, liver, and adrenal glands. When one part of that system goes off balance due to stress, poor sleep, nutrient deficiencies, or even certain foods, your body will naturally reduce testosterone production as a protective mechanism. One major driver is inflammation. Chronic, low-grade inflammation, often triggered by poor gut health or environmental toxins, activates immune pathways that shut down testosterone synthesis. Inflammation also raises levels of aromatase, the enzyme that converts testosterone into estrogen. This is how many aging men start to experience weight gain in the hips or chest or feel emotionally dulled. It's not just low testosterone, it's a hormonal inversion. The second key player is thyroid function. The thyroid gland produces hormones that regulate your metabolism, energy, and fat burning capacity. But what many don't realize is that the thyroid is also closely tied to testosterone. When the thyroid slows down, sex hormone binding globulin, SHBG, binds to testosterone, making it unavailable to cells. So even if your total testosterone looks normal on a lab test, your free testosterone, the part your body actually uses, is significantly reduced. But here's where diet comes in. Certain vegetables, especially when eaten raw or in large amounts, contain goitrogens, which suppress thyroid activity. Others contain phytoestrogens, which mimic estrogen and disrupt the hormonal balance needed to maintain healthy testosterone signaling. And still others affect the gut microbiome in a way that allows more estrogen to be reabsorbed into the bloodstream, further worsening the ratio. And then there's nutrient depletion. Testosterone production requires zinc, magnesium, selenium, and vitamin D, nutrients that are often blocked or bound by plant anti-nutrients like oxalates, lectins, and phytic acid. Over time, this leads to a kind of nutritional starvation at the cellular level. Your body can't build what it doesn't have the tools to make. All of this paints a clear picture. After 60, the male endocrine system is still functional, but extremely sensitive. The foods you eat either protect that balance or disrupt it. There is no neutral. That's why understanding how specific vegetables affect your system is essential. Now that you understand the biological setup, we can go deeper into the top 3 vegetables that may be quietly sabotaging your testosterone. Starting with one of the most innocent-looking foods in the modern health world, soybean sprouts. Soybeans have long been promoted as a health food, high in protein, plant-based, cholesterol-free. But what many don't realize is that soy, especially in the form of soybean sprouts, carries a heavy hormonal cost for men over 60. Soybean sprouts are rich in compounds called isoflavones, specifically genistein and daidzein. These are phytoestrogens, meaning they mimic estrogen in the human body. While that may sound harmless or even helpful in some contexts, here's the problem. In the aging male body, phytoestrogens don't just mimic, they displace. When phytoestrogens bind to the same receptors as testosterone, they block the signal that testosterone is supposed to send. The result is a down regulation of androgenic activity, meaning your body acts as if it has less testosterone than it really does. And that's the key. It's not just about how much testosterone you produce, it's about how much your cells can respond to. Now, if you were in your 20s or 30s with high testosterone output, the effect of occasional soy might be negligible. But in your 60s and beyond, with testosterone already in decline, that receptor competition becomes a serious issue. It can amplify fatigue, reduce muscle tone, and alter your mood, often without you ever tracing it back to food. Even more concerning, studies have shown that phytoestrogens like genistein can inhibit the activity of enzymes involved in testosterone synthesis, including 5-alpha reductase, the enzyme responsible for converting testosterone into DHT, a more potent androgen crucial for strength, libido, and prostate health. There's also the gut-liver axis to consider. When you eat soy regularly, especially in unfermented forms like sprouts, it increases the activity of gut bacteria that recirculate estrogen compounds through a process called enterohepatic recycling. This means more estrogen ends up back in your bloodstream instead of being flushed out. Over time, this shifts the delicate estrogen to testosterone ratio, leaving men hormonally out of balance. And it's not just about testosterone suppression. Excess phytoestrogens have also been linked to thyroid disruption, particularly in the presence of low iodine, which is common in older adults. Thyroid suppression leads to higher SHBG, sex hormone binding globulin, which binds to testosterone and renders it inactive. So even if your blood levels look okay, your cells aren't getting the signal. What's ironic is that many health-conscious men consume soybean sprouts because they're low-calorie, high in fiber, and easily added to salads or smoothies. But what they don't see is the invisible hormonal cost. Now, are all forms of soy equally problematic? Not exactly. Fermented soy foods like tempeh, natto, and miso undergo microbial transformation that reduces phytoestrogen impact and enhances bioavailability of nutrients like vitamin K2. These forms, when consumed in moderation, can be much more compatible with hormonal balance. If you're trying to support testosterone after 60, here's the bottom line. Avoid unfermented soy, especially soybean sprouts, soy protein isolate, and soy-based meal replacements. These forms deliver the most concentrated hormonal interference with the least nutritional benefit.
You are not declining.
Instead, opt for zinc-rich proteins like
adapting.
shellfish or grass-fed meat. And for plant-based options, choose pumpkin seeds, lentils, or fermented soy in small amounts. These support testosterone without throwing off your endocrine rhythm. So while soybean sprouts may look innocent in your salad or stir fry, their long-term effect on your hormonal health can be significant. Now, let's move to the second vegetable on our list, one that's in every smoothie bowl and health cleanse, yet quietly suppressing thyroid function: raw kale. Kale has become the poster child of modern health. From smoothies to salads, it's everywhere. But what most people don't know is that raw kale, when consumed frequently, can be quietly undermining your hormonal health, especially your thyroid function, which is deeply tied to testosterone production. Kale belongs to the cruciferous family, along with broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and cauliflower. And while these vegetables are rich in antioxidants and fiber, they also contain compounds called goitrogens. Goitrogens interfere with the uptake of iodine by the thyroid gland. Iodine is a mineral your thyroid needs to make hormones, and without it, the entire endocrine system begins to slow down. Why does this matter for testosterone? The thyroid governs metabolic rate, energy output, and plays a central role in hormonal communication between the brain and reproductive organs. When the thyroid underperforms, a condition known as subclinical hypothyroidism, which is common in older adults, your body reduces its production of free testosterone. It also increases sex hormone binding globulin, SHBG, which again ties up testosterone and keeps it from reaching your cells. In other words, when your thyroid slows, your testosterone does too. And goitrogens, especially when consumed raw and in large quantities, act like a slow leak in that hormonal system. This becomes even more relevant after 60, when thyroid sensitivity is heightened and testosterone is already declining due to age shifts in luteinizing hormone and testicular function. If you're flooding your system with raw kale every morning in a smoothie, your body may be receiving less iodine, producing less thyroid hormone, and thus sending weaker testosterone signals downstream. But here's what makes the problem worse. Kale also contains oxalates, natural compounds that bind to calcium and magnesium, both essential minerals for testosterone production and overall metabolic function. Over time, oxalate accumulation can irritate the gut lining, increase inflammation, and even contribute to calcium oxalate kidney stones in vulnerable individuals. The solution, however, is not to eliminate kale entirely. It's about how you prepare it. When kale is cooked, steamed, sautéed, or baked, the goitrogenic compounds are greatly reduced. Heat inactivates the enzymes that block iodine uptake, making the vegetable safer for your thyroid and hormones. Even lightly steaming kale for 5-10 minutes significantly diminishes its hormonal impact. Also, consider rotating your greens. Instead of raw kale every day, alternate with other non-goitrogenic leafy greens like arugula, romaine, or dandelion greens. These offer similar nutrient density without the thyroid suppression. And don't forget to support your thyroid directly with foods rich in iodine, selenium, and tyrosine, such as sea vegetables like dulse or nori, Brazil nuts, and wild-caught fish. These nutrients help your thyroid function optimally, especially as you age. Another tip: pair cooked kale with healthy fats like olive oil or avocado. This enhances the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins A, K, E, which are critical for hormone production and inflammation control. So if you've been starting your day with raw kale in a smoothie thinking you're boosting your health, you may be unknowingly placing a brake on your thyroid and testosterone axis. It's a classic case of a health food taken out of context. Raw kale isn't poison,
You are not declining.
but in the wrong form and at the wrong age,
Adapting.
it can do more harm than good. Next, we'll explore the third vegetable on our list, one that seems innocent but may be exposing you to pesticides and estrogenic toxins that silently disrupt male hormones: industrial tomatoes. Tomatoes are everywhere, in salads, sauces, juices, and even supplements. Rich in lycopene, low in calories, and full of antioxidants, they seem like the ultimate smart food. But there's one critical piece of the puzzle most people miss: how your tomatoes are grown and what comes with them. Most conventionally farmed tomatoes, especially those grown on a large industrial scale, are sprayed heavily with pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides, and many of these chemical residues act as xenoestrogens, meaning they mimic estrogen inside the human body. These compounds bind to estrogen receptors, alter gene expression, and throw off your delicate hormonal balance. For men over 60, this matters more than ever. Your natural testosterone is already in decline, and your body's ability to detoxify hormonal disruptors is diminished with age. So even small, repeated exposures to xenoestrogens can slowly tilt your estrogen to testosterone ratio in the wrong direction. Let's break that down. Many industrial tomato crops are treated with compounds like chlorpyrifos, glyphosate, and endosulfan, which have been linked in multiple studies to endocrine disruption in humans and animals. These chemicals don't just rinse off with water. They bind to the skin and pulp of the fruit and can remain even after cooking. Once ingested, these xenoestrogens act on your body in similar ways as natural estrogens. They increase fat storage, especially around the abdomen, weaken libido, and reduce free testosterone by increasing SHBG levels. In some cases, they may also